Hi guys, it's been a minute. I have not forgotten about you. I've just done everything else. I've gotten sick. I went on vacation to Disney World. And then we promptly came back and adopted a puppy. So adjusting to, getting her used to being around the house, potty trained, etc., has definitely taken a lot of my studio time away. So we are going to do it's going to be 3 different videos. So you're probably seeing each one on a different week just because of editing time. But I'm going to be talking about 3 Twisted Tales while I'm wearing this sweater. So this all looks the same. That's why I filled it all on the same day. We're going to go in order, though, of when I finish them. Actually, no, let's do the anthology last because that one's going to take the longest one. We're going to talk about Go the Distance in this video. Official intro, ba-ba-ba-bam. If you guys didn't know already or you're new to this channel and you happen to stumble upon this because you saw a Disney Twisted Tales book, welcome. I'm not really a booktuber, gonna say that outright, but I have all of the Twisted Tales. I have read them all. And a couple years ago now, I did a ranking video with the 10 that were out. Since then, there have been a few more. And so I've decided to reread all of them and do like individual mini reviews just so when I re-rank them again, because there's going to be like 16 or 18 by the next time I get around to ranking them. I have a better memory via the reviews. This quick little review is going to be about Go the Distance by Jen Kalanita. I also have a read-along of this entire book, which I'm not reading word for word. I'm just sort of reacting to different parts of it and giving my thoughts throughout. I think it's a 7-part video. So that is definitely more in-depth. That was my first read of it. In my reread, I did chose, oh God. The grammar gonna be hard today. I did choose to listen to the audiobook, which I did not listen to the first time. The things that I didn't like, I still didn't like, but I think I appreciated other parts of it a little bit more, which is typical because when I listen to an audiobook, I'm kind of just there to enjoy it versus physically reading. I might pick up on more nuances or just get nitpicky because I feel like I should say something in a review that is worth watching. So, without further ado, let me give you guys a quick summary and then a brief recap on my thoughts for Go the Distance. It's a nice tiny one, so it was like an 8-hour audiobook, yet it took me 2 weeks to listen to it. No, this one took me 3 weeks because I just wasn't into it. But we'll get to that. What if Meg had to become a Greek god? After Hercules proves he's a true hero and regains his godhood, all seems right in the world. That is, until Zeus tells Megara that she can't be with Hercules because she's, mortal. Luckily, Hera has a solution, offering Meg a chance to prove herself worthy of a spot on Mount Olympus as a god. All Meg has to do is complete a mysterious quest. The quest? Oh, just to rescue her ex-boyfriend's wife from the underworld. The ex-boyfriend she saved by selling her soul to Hades. The ex-boyfriend who immediately moved on to someone else while Meg was stuck in the underworld. Can Meg put her past behind her and use her quick wit to defeat monsters and gods alike, including the nefarious Hades? Will she finally figure out where she belongs and what she has to offer? Or will her fear of commitment have her running away from an eternity of godhood with Herc? Oh, yay. So let me talk about the first thing I did not enjoy in this book, since literally the last word of the blurb is it. So Hercules, Herc, I'm pretty sure I have to rewatch the movie. We might have name dropped Herc as a nickname. Fine. I will never call Pegasus Peg. I even got myself a baby Pegasus when I was in Disney World, and I will never call him Peg, okay? And then we also have, not really a spoiler because we're going to go through the book anyway, Persephone is in the book, and her nickname is Per. Yeah, we didn't like the nicknames. I didn't like it in my read-along, and I still did not enjoy it I guess you gotta sit there, but in the reread, I was just like, why do you have to keep giving people nicknames? I don't like it. I don't like it. Re-listening to the book and kind of trying to pay more attention to what the author did with Meg's character, I kind of started picking up on what Kalanita does with her stories. I think her strong point is kind of recreating the feel of a character and giving them that depth and background that you want. However, I feel like endings feel very convenient in both this and the next book we're going to talk about. But we start off with young Meg and her mother, kind of when they had to leave her father because he was a turd. And so they ended up on their own, scrounging for money, odd jobs, all that. So Meg learned to become independent quite quickly. In the present time, we just had Hercules save the world. Yay, he's God again. He is a god again. But then Zeus is a butthead and he's like, oh, Meg, yeah, you're human, so you have to stay on Earth. He's coming up with us. And like Zeus was a jerk. Like, I know technically he's not the greatest god guy in the mythology, but like in the movie, he's kind of like a jolly old dad. That's kind of like, yeah, he seemed a lot more open and welcoming in the movie version, which these are more or less based off of because it's the Disney retelling, essentially. We're going to put you right there so I stop flailing you around. Don't fall. Good. But this Zeus was kind of a jerk about it. And oddly enough, even though mythology-wise Hera is probably a bit more bitter because of Zeus's escapades, she was like, hey, Meg, let me give you a chance to also become a god. Okay, convenient, whatever. The first half of the story is usually pretty smooth. We're kind of taking our time actually getting the character into their motivation. She is sent on a quest to retrieve Athena's musical instrument. I'm sorry, I finished this again in like December, so it's been a couple months. But she goes to get her instrument, which Meg is also very proficient in. That was how she like got money when she was younger. She would play on the street and people would give her coins. That's also how she met Aegis. He was also a musician, so that's how they met, fell in love, started their life. He got sick. Meg didn't know what to do, which is when Hades came in and said, hey, I got a deal for you. And basically she sold her soul to the underworld. Meanwhile, Hades tricked her perception of time, because time does move differently in the underworld versus like life. Meg thought that Aegeus got better and immediately fell in love with someone else and totally like ditched her, when really it was like, I think years between that, her giving up her soul, and Aegeus moving on. So Meg was pissed about that, obviously, and we know she worked for Hades, tried to sabotage Hercules. Oh no, I'm doing it. Try to sabotage Hercules. Through this quest, she does end up back in the underworld because Aegeus's new wife also who had a daughter. The wife died when their house flooded because of the Titan stuff that obviously Meg felt responsible for because of her whole like trying to sabotage work with Hades situation. In any case, coupling that with her quest, she is very stubborn to actually like do anything to help Aegeus for quite a while. But she does end up going down to the underworld to find his wife and meets Persephone down there. The second half of the book was not my favorite just because when she was down there with Persephone in Hades, everything just felt very convenient and like how things lined up. And even when Hades tried to sabotage her, it felt very like lightweight. And so I was like, I feel like Hades could do more. But they were trying to like play that Persephone's influence was working against him. And this was also like the first time that Persephone was taken down to the underworld by Hades, because right at the first chapter or two, when the gods are all talking amongst each other, Demeter mentions that, hey, Persephone's missing. Has anyone seen her? So we got some foreshadowing there. Like overall, it wasn't, I I enjoy Hercules because of Hercules rather than Meg, but with all the Twisted Tales, they do take a female lead role. I think with all of them, they have done that. Yes, with all of them, they have done that. So I'm wondering if the Sword in the Stone one is actually Arthur. We'll see. But any case, the Hercules in this book felt very not present, which is fine. It's about Meg. But when he was there, he kind of felt dumb. And I don't think he really was that dumb in his original capture, his caricature within the Disney movie. But also because of her, Meg and Hercules' strained relationship, because of her like commitment issues, there was just things where you're just like, oh my God, Meg, stop talking and just accept his help. Or like she got a flower that had like 3 petals and she could use each petal once to summon help from a god. And she squandered it and then she threw it in the river after like 1 or 2 times when she definitely could have used it later. It was like one of those where she just says these frustrating things, and that's just not my favorite main character. Is when they do the frustrating things where you're like, ugh, stop and grow already. But it is the character that she was written into, kind of, again, protecting herself, afraid of commitment, etc. So overall, with Meg's quest to become a god, I thought the story, the second time around, flowed a little bit better. I still think the ending felt a little bit more, not convoluted. And there's another word, contrived. Contrived is what we want. But I also knew what was happening. So it's kind of hard. That's why if you want to check like my play-by-play and the read-along, definitely do that. Most of my feelings have not changed, in those steps. But overall, like, I enjoy all of the Twisted Tales. I just feel like I need to like get nitty-gritty and nitpick when we're doing this like review situation. But obviously I'm going to keep reading them. So does not make my top 5. Still probably hanging out in the bottom. I can't remember what it ranked initially, but I do know Kalanita was struggling at the bottom of my whole like ranking. I do think certain book stories of hers have improved. And we'll talk about that when we get to the anthology, which is in like 2 videos. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. It's not bad. If you love Meg and love a little bit more of a difficult character, you will probably enjoy Go the Distance. And if you don't, or you do, let me know in the comments below what you were thinking. Again, like, it's been 2 months since I reread it, but I guess I still didn't really get into it in the reread. So if you do have further questions on how I felt initially, check out that read along in the little pop-up there. And I'll try to link it below if I remember. But that is my individual review recap of Go the Distance by Jen Kalanita in the Twisted Tales series. On to the next video, which for you guys is probably going to be like a week since I got to actually like sit here and edit stuff. But it will be up and it's going to look exactly like this. So if it's already up, I'll see you in a minute. So whether you're watching these in order or you just popped in because Hercules, great. I do appreciate the watch. Feel free to like and subscribe. My channel is going to be more for my studio creative stuff, with the exception of these Disney books, because why not talk about them so we can rank them again?